What's up, y'all? Empress Danny here, hanging out. Thanks for liking, follow, subscribing. We're back with another episode of the Daily Grind, pouring you up a nice hot cup of joe, going to get your day off to a bright and beautiful start. Shall we? Um, there is, I don't know why I'm kind of getting like sticking your finger out there. It's like a little bit of apprehension, newness to pointing someone out, but the niggle is there, the desire, the itch, if you will, right? It could be to try your hand at something, to do something. I feel like you have a cause or a purpose, okay? And this could be something that you're starting. Um, it could just be something that you are taking the opportunity to. Um, I'm not entirely certain what you're doing. So let's see here. Um, huh. Let's get the messages. Okay, octopus. All right, like, woo. This is kind of like, I don't know why I'm getting like a hut two, right? Like marching orders. Something could be significant about that. Octopuses, though, we already know it's a busy energy, but it's definitely one where, if not managed appropriately, so it could be time management, it could be financial management, it could be energy management. You know, some of you could be managing your health or just tasks, but it's almost like those things that could like, dang, I gotta get this done. So now this ain't gonna get done, and that ain't gonna get done, and everything is kind of like a snowball effect. The dragonfly is coming to the front of the deck. You see that owl wanted to be seen. So it's almost like this. I feel like, some of you may even notice you're becoming more inclined to the energy of the wisdom of the unique cycles or phases of life. This can just be like ebbs and flows. So you recognize, this can be like when trouble or problems are dissipating. You also recognize when, abundance is growing, or there's a grace, or the energy is at a peak or a high, if you will, to be able to do something. Some of you, this is you, right? I can say certainly around birthdays, obviously your own personal solar return. So there's a strong magnetism or a power that is commanding, akin to all of the things that we know about the sun. So in reflection of that, and even saying that, right, is a diminishing, because we know the sun doesn't reflect. The moon is what is the reflection of the sun. So because the sun actually is, I feel as though there's this realizing, like, wait a minute, um, I can't expect, you know, what's the energy of like, it's wanting to try over here, but not wanting to try over there. And I can't expect effort in one place or another. It's almost like I have to take the opportunity that I have while I'm here. And this can be like while I'm in a certain place in life, certain space, right? Geographical. This can even be like while I don't have kids, while I'm single, while I'm, whatever your situation is, right? While I'm maybe in the beginnings of my business, right? I'm at the start of the foundation of a thing, while the relationship is new, right? Like, there's something about like while I'm here in a very simple way that I feel like is at play. But the dragonfly is coming out the top of the day. There's a refreshing of, I feel like, your anointing oil. So some of you just need to know that you could be receiving spiritual communication that is renewing. I also just heard upticking your mind. So take that however you want. Some of you could be doing early morning snack, right? Swanning, right? It's a very graceful energy, whatever there's a grace for. And with the dragonfly, if there is a grace for, it could be conversation, but um, it can even be like, try to discuss this again, right? Try to do this again, which can be some application of your expertise, right? So it can be, try my hand at something again. I don't necessarily think the try has to do with effort so much as it has to do with receiving. It's almost like having conscious awareness of readiness for what could be like a fresh start or a new opportunity. Okay. So I feel like, and so this, I get more of an active mind energy. I'm seeing this fluttering in my mind's eye. So I feel the top of the day is almost like, if you think about when a woman is pregnant, she starts to feel butterflies in her stomach. There's, sensations that come from the movement, the growth that's taking place, and perhaps other things that are taking place inside of her. And so Dragonfly gives those flutters. They're not uncomfortable, you know what they are, but they're also signs of life, perhaps. So, I feel like these are positive signals. It's almost like it's renewing the excitement. Oh, you're there. This is there. And this can be a person at the top of the day. Something is coming through that is what feels like, yeah, I hear Lauren Hill. How the joy of my world is in Zion. That's a beautiful song. I want to say Zion is, I don't know if that's her firstborn child. I want to say it is, but that is her child. And if you listen to the words of that song, what a beautiful tribute that she makes to her child in that song. Nonetheless, moving forward, okay. Camel is coming in midday. I like this. We already know this is a self-love card. You could be spending some time to yourself doing something that you want to do or doing something for you. Okay. This could sometimes be like, I'm watching my show, right? I'm going to, this could be like I'm cooking my favorite meal. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It could just be like, um I get to sit in my favorite seat. You know what I mean? Maybe ordinarily it's taken, or get my favorite parking spot in the office. Our final cut out of the day. I have to say, it feels like somewhat of maybe a docile, perceivably lackadaisical top half of the day, but it feels almost like this powering, charging up, moving slow for what is this, I feel a chugga, 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 and the tiger comes in at the end of the day, fire energy. So we got air, fire, fire. Is that what you're doing? What that usually is sending forth or setting forth a command, is speaking what it is that you want. So some of you want to know where your power, how your power rests in today, is speaking what it is that you want into being, right? With the hummingbird energy behind it, that positivity, that life-giving force behind it. And when you put that vitality with your air, renewing and refreshing your mind, then you start to begin to see things come into motion, where you begin to see your intentions made manifest into opportunities, perhaps to try to what could be like go after, acquire what it is that you desire. Okay. To get what you want. Okay. Obviously, we know that doesn't always happen, but what it does is it increases our capacity to sense more deeply, and we show ourselves greater love and even greater care, so that when it comes to the steps that we take, and I feel like these are the steps that we take that are a product of those things that derive from like things that are sensed. Okay. So it's like the I felt led, okay, or even hearing, right? When it comes to like, clairaudience, whether it's hearing the voice of God, or I was told to da da da, whatever it is. When you think about anything that is sensed, aside from perhaps the knowing, which is not really for me to establish or fully define in this video, but there's a prowess that comes where, like with anything, you become more adept especially like, in those circumstances where you're self-taught, or where like if you break it, you buy it. So you're the person that has to bear responsibility for what is like continued vitality out of her heartbeat. Yeah, I hear the Bee Gees, staying alive. So when you bear that responsibility, you are able to feel or to sense. I don't know why I'm kind of getting the movement or the current. And I feel like you choose in what form of currency this is: love, attention, money, connectedness as a resource, with a resource. This could be value. It could be a particular thing you want. This could be your health. I'm going to take this one: authenticity. Okay. So for some of you, that's what this is with the dragonfly. It could even be a refresh on authenticity. Let me keep it real with you. Surrender is here. So this is where um, someone's either doing. It's almost like they're whatever it is that they're saying. And now there's a centering around what could be a message. Okay, so someone's sending a message. Um, um, or something that they're saying, or they're getting, like I said, receiving downloads, would feel like spiritual wisdom. And in that, someone is accepting, I feel like, what it is they're hearing. But that's because I feel like it is refreshing. I do feel the energy of someone, like hearing from God, hearing from the angels, definitely some benevolent forces. Um, that I feel like are revering someone, and I just heard are all over someone's back. So, and I don't feel like that's like, I get this energy of more like carrying you, um, keeping you, what feels almost like keeping you light so that you continue to float. Because I feel like the person that I'm connecting with, you have a tendency to take on burdens, to take on responsibilities, to pick up a lot of weight. And so, yeah, I hear Erica Badu, bag a lady, you gonna hurt your back. Bagging all them bags like that. Y'all know. But that's what I feel. That's for somebody who just has that tendency. And this can be like even taking people on as projects, or doing a lot of projects with other people, but it's just, I have to say, I feel struggle bus energy. Could be Sagittarius, but I feel struggle bus energy. But that's not your energy. It just keeps you on the struggle because you struggle to put the weight down. Okay. And for some of you, that could be physical. Okay. Choice is the next card that came out with camel. So this could be with the camel here, right? It's always a choosing, but it is always relative to the balance of life. Okay. So this is, yes, it's a self-love card, but it's looking at, if all I've been showing love to is myself, then the camel has stored in its humps to be able to carry some sort of a weight. So if all I've been taking care of is myself, then what happens? This is the beauty of the number nine, is nine represents the release. And so while there is this not taking care of others, the ability to stand on one's own is what is released, right? The able, the ability, the ableness, if you will, to stand on one's own, is the love that one, excuse me, feels relative to the choices that it has made on the journey. Okay. Relative to his choices. And those are the free will choices. So, did I choose to love myself? Did I choose to love someone else? And for some of you, this is where midday here is where now we're examining and looking at how that may need to switch or change. Okay. So, if I've been choosing to love someone else, perhaps now this is the time where now my intent is to show that same love, right? Freely, liberally, right? Just like I do with you, or this or that, right? The job, whatever, to myself. And similarly, where I've been showing it to myself only, perhaps then there's this release. It's no longer just for me. And that's kind of like sometimes you get to a phase of life where, yeah, I just said I do this myself, right? But I want someone I hear Eddie Murphy. Someone to touch, someone to kiss, right? To be loved, right? But seriously, right? And that's the self. When you get to a point of loving yourself, which is great, it's excellent, it feeds you, but there's something about having the love of another partnership, in your other relationships. Nourishment is here. It feeds you. For some of you, you may be on the hunt for food, or you may be going after something that it's almost this energy. I can't lie. When I see the tiger with nourishment, it really kind of gives like going in for the kill. Okay, so I do feel like some of y'all that could be closing on a big deal. Maybe you are a big deal. Maybe this is some area in your life that's a big deal, and I need to make sure that I've given all the energy to it that I can sense that I need to. But this is kind of like, I don't know why I feel like heavy. Yeah, I hear honey, honey in the rock, sweet honey in the rock. Jesus tastes like honey in a rock. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Jesus tastes like honey in a rock. Y'all know what? It's Thursday. Thursday is ruled by Jupiter. We talking about expanse. I don't care if you take a moment and you clap some money into your hand and you speak it into existence. My clap getting softer and softer. And now it's money clapping. Doesn't have to be money. Sometimes it's the love that you want. Am I gonna have to move here so he can fit in the frame? You know what I mean? She, whatever. You see, you're taking an opportunity to visit that place and to feel it, even though it's not there. I just heard it's going to fall right into your hands. I just heard a turkey, so for some of you, could certainly be getting like some sort of Thanksgiving box or dinner or meal, something like that. Um, but nourishment is deeper. So remember that it's more than just food. This is care. And you're nourished by the nutrients, right? The nutrition is what nourishes or what revitalizes. Okay. And that's what I feel is the significance of the dragonfly at the top of the day. There's something about revitalization that is at play at the top of the day. Okay. And then what feels like at the end of the day, that's being nourished. It's almost like maintain, nourish, maintain, nourish. Something is being like, it doesn't say replenished, but definitely plenished is what it feels like. Plenishment. Let's go deeper. Join us on Patreon, like, follow, subscribe. Also check out the Spotify. You know how we do. I love you, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.